Glad, thank you, and welcome from downtown Milwaukee, the sparkling new Fiserv Forum. It is the home court of the Marquette Golden Eagles, and they are ready to rock here this afternoon. Marquette and Xavier, brunch in the Big East. Good morning, everyone. Brian Anderson along with Stephen Bardo. Katie George is with us as well. We'll hear from her in just a moment. Bardo, I love this matchup. Marquette and Xavier always give us a good show. This will be the first meeting of the year between these two.
Yeah, Brian, and historically, Xavier's had the upper hand in this matchup. And so if you're Marquette and you want a Big East title, you better handle business at home. And Xavier needs a signature win. This would be a great one for them.
Cranking it up early here today in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Take a look at our Geico players to watch. Quentin Gooden will be tasked with matching up against Marcus Howard, one of the great scorers, one of the great players in college basketball. But Marcus Howard coming off an 8-point effort against St. John's, one of his worst of the season. For more on that and his bounce back, let's check in with Katie George. Katie?
Well, Brian, Howard is coming into this game hungrier than ever. In Tuesday's loss against St. John's, he went 2 for 15 from the field, scoring a season-low 8 points. He didn't shoot well, he didn't make the 3-ball, and he didn't get to the free throw line. 3 things that make him a Player of the Year candidate. Now, in talking with Marquette head coach Steve Wojciechowski, he told me not to overreact, but he wants Howard to impact the game in other ways when his shot's not falling, and that's what he's challenged him to do. But in talking with the junior guard this morning, he fully intends for his shot to fall today. Howard said he feels confident in his ability to respond, and we'll see if he has that kind of big response here today.
Well, he has done it time and time again. Marquette is hoping that is the case. We are ready to tip it off here at Fiserv Forum. Xavier will control the tip, and away we go. Great to have you with us on a Sunday morning here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And right away a turnover. Offensive fouls going the other way. And that gets us to our Jeep Grand Cherokee starting lineups. You've met Quentin Gooden and, of course, Marcus Howard leading the way for Marquette. What's the other matchup you're looking at here today, Stephen?
Najee Marshall and Sam Hauser, 2 of the more versatile forwards in all the Big East. They can affect every aspect of the game. Ought to be fun to watch.
Both of these teams coming off losses in their last Big East matchup as Theo John banging inside with Hankins. Marcus Howard passes it up. Hauser to Hauser. Sam cannot connect on the 3. Xavier losing at home against Seton Hall. Difficult loss for them. They had a lead late in that game, up double digits with 8 minutes remaining. Couldn't hang on. And Marquette losing at St. John's. As Katie mentioned, Marcus Howard just 8 points, a season low. Scruggs unable to connect. One and done for Xavier. The Hauser brothers. Sam is the junior. Joey is the freshman. And they are a terrific tandem working with Marcus Howard.
Nice possession here by Marquette. Everybody's touched the rock, probing the defense. A pretty good defense as well.
Shot clock ticks down to 2. Marcus Howard had it blocked. Caslin with the block. Shot clock violation. Excellent defensive stand for the Musketeers.
Xavier doing an excellent job of staying connected defensively and closing out on Marcus Howard right there at the last second.
Xavier winning 9 of their last 12. Xavier has won 7 of 9 in the Steve Wojciechowski era here at Marquette. And have a foul before the rebound, and that's going to send it the other way. There's Steve Wojciechowski. Made a name for himself at Duke, the Defensive Player of the Year in 1999. This is year number 5 in his first head coaching run. He was a longtime assistant under Mike Krzyzewski at Duke, 15 years as a matter of fact, a couple of national championships with Duke as an assistant.
Joey missed his brother Sam in the post. He had really good position there.
Annam on the cut. Nice feed from Howard. Count it. And 1. Sakar Annam to the line. Beautiful find by Marcus Howard. He's more than just a scorer.
Well, the defense has to pay attention when Howard is penetrating. So he's got 3 defenders occupied. Sakar Annam, one of the better players on Marquette's team of moving without the basketball. Nice action that time.
Annam, a defensive specialist, averages 6.5 points per game, a little over 3 rebounds a game, and on the scoreboard first. Marquette with the first points of the day. We'll see how these two teams get into their stuff right away. It is an early start. Xavier coming in last night. Didn't get a shoot around here at Fiserv Forum. The Bucks played last night, played the Raptors. So the gym wasn't open. That's another foul going the other way. So an offensive foul. That's going to be on Zach Hankins, and foul trouble early for Travis Steele. Your assessment of how he's done in year one at this point for Xavier?
I think he's done well. They've played a very difficult schedule. They've had some opportunities that have eluded them. The Seton Hall game, they were up double digits in the second half, and still trying to figure out, you know, Quentin Gooden, Tariq Jones, these guys are in new roles. Still trying to figure things out.
Sam Hauser misses badly on the three. Xavier 9-6. They lost their conference, won their conference opener on the road, I should say, against DePaul, winning on the road. That was their only true road win, and a couple of road losses at Cincinnati and at Missouri. Tyreek Jones strong, but misses badly.
Joey Hauser did an excellent job of forcing Tariq Jones out of his comfort zone when he initially caught the pass.
Joey Hauser passed up a three, gives it to his brother Sam. Najee Marshall, 13 in black, their best defender. He checks Sam Hauser to start it. Quentin Gooden has the Howard responsibility. You see Xavier going to a 2-3 zone at times as well. Howard falls down, turns it over. Najee Marshall on the breakaway, and a foul, count it. Najee Marshall a chance at a three-point trip down the floor.
Brian, I talked to Najee Marshall before the game. I said, listen, young man, when you figure out how good you are, you will be one of the premier players in the Big East. You can see it right there. Comes up with a steal, holds off the defender with his off arm, gets to the rim, and finishes through contact. Those numbers indicate how versatile this young man is.
Stacks it up, second in the league in rebounding at 8. He is 10th in assist in the Big East. Just about 3.5 assists per game, goes for 12.5 a game. And Xavier finally on the scoreboard. We've had 2 and 1s and a very sluggish start to this one in the Big East today. Foul trouble early for Xavier with Hankins on the bench. And here is Ed Morrow just on the floor, and Jones pulls down the rebound.
I think Xavier can live with Ed Morrow shooting a face-up jumper like that instead of banging around the rim.
Kyle Caslin misses on the three, struggles from behind the arc, but they needed to shoot out there. Caslin just 5 for 22 this year from three-point range. Annam will pull a three. Annam will hit. So early offense for Sakar Annam. He's got all 6 for Marquette.
When you get to the rim and you get a layup your first shot, that confidence level goes sky high. No hesitation for Sakar Annam on that three.
Marshall kicks it. Caslin on the take, hangs, no. Annam with the rebound. Howard with his head up. He's got Hauser on his wing. Marquette running the floor well. Annam will spot up again. Comes up short. Quentin Gooden. Kicks it. Caslin. Another three is up. Wow, that one hit the backboard. Xavier is 1 for 8. Caslin's missed 2 threes. Hauser for 3, rattles in and out. Morrow keeps it alive. Joey Hauser hits the deck. He's tripped. It'll be a foul on Xavier. And that'll take us to a timeout.
Well, Sakar Annam is the unsung hero to start the game for Marquette. Feeling good from long range.
Nevada no longer an unbeaten team. What caught your eye yesterday, Stephen?
Well, that Nevada-New Mexico score caught my eye, but also St. John's at Georgetown and Michigan State at Ohio State. I was able to watch both of those games, and St. John's, tell you what, they continue to be impressive in how they are able to close out games with their tremendous guard tandem.
Well, right now, Marquette at 16th in the country, the only Big East team in the rankings. You've got to figure St. John's is going in with the new release for next week. St. John's has had some terrific victories, including a home win over Marquette. That was on Tuesday, 20-point win over the Golden Eagles. Coming out of the timeout, there's Howard. Finally gets loose, knocks down a three. Actually, a long 2 for Howard, it's called. Marquette just 3 for 10 shooting. Sakar Adams hit 2 of 3. Scored the first 6 points for the Golden Eagles.
If you're Quentin Gooden, you cannot go for the steal on Marcus Howard, because if you don't get it, it's basically giving up an easy bucket, which he did.
There's Ryan Wellage and another one way off. Xavier is struggling big time right now shooting the basketball. They are 1 for 9. Kick it to the corner. Joey Hauser, yes! Back-to-back trips. 3-pointers made and a timeout. Travis Steele and Xavier. Howard, then Joey Hauser. Back-to-back threes makes it 11-3 Golden Eagles.
When heartburn hits, fight back fast with Tums Smoothies. It neutralizes stomach acid at the source. Smoothies. And introducing new Tums Sugar Free.
Dragons have invaded Dave & Buster's, and only you can save the day. Play the all-new Dragon Frost virtual reality game to save the kingdom. Only at Dave & Buster's. Now open at 10 a.m.
Right, let's take a look. Last time why Marcus Howard was wide open. Go ahead and roll it. And so Quentin Gooden is reading the scouting report, Brian. Watch how he shoots the gap and tries to go for the steal. If you don't get that, you're basically giving up an open look to the best shooter in college basketball. That cannot happen on the defensive end.
Scored as a long 2, 11-3 Marquette. And a foul as Gooden goes to the hole. So here's the story now for Xavier. So they come into this game and this season with very little depth. It's basically a 6.5, 7-man rotation for Travis Steele. They already have 5 fouls, and their big man, Zach Hankins, 2 early fouls. He's on the bench. There's not a lot of room for error with Xavier at this point.
It's not. And when you're talking about Hankins, it's unfortunate because he's coming off a career high of 20 points in the last game against Seton Hall. Tremendous shot blocker. He would give them a presence on the interior along with Tariq Jones. So Xavier going to have to adjust their approach here this afternoon.
Hankins, you see, with 20 points against Seton Hall. He scored 18 of those in the first half. It was a Xavier record for a half. As there's Najee Marshall on the out of bounds. Much needed basket for Xavier. Snaps an 8-0 Marquette run.
Joseph Chartouni has played much better as of late. Got much more confidence on his long-range shot.
Chartouni, the transfer from Fordham. There's a turnover for Howard, his second turnover. Marshall, he's long. Marshall will pull a 3. And Howard with the rebound. Shooting woes continue for Xavier.
Marshall did a good thing of coming up with the steal, but that just wasn't a good shot.
Quick release of Marcus Howard. A long 2, a buried 3. He's got an early 5 for Marquette.
You'll notice Xavier wanting to slow the pace down a little bit as that depth that you were talking about, a lack thereof, Brian. Want to try to shorten the game up a little bit, playing so few players.
Sandhauser, a deflection. Turns into a turnover for Xavier. Chartouni gives it to Sandhauser. Misses the 3. And on the board. Kicks it out. Hauser fires.
They've got a door or something open. Every time somebody shoots from long range, we see some terrible misses.
9.5-foot goals, I think, Stephen. There's a foul on the take by Paul Scruggs. Haven't heard much out of Scruggs thus far. Second foul on Sam Hauser, by the way. Xavier has to get Scruggs loose. They've got to get Gooden, Marshall, Scruggs. It's a balanced scoring attack for Xavier, but they all have to contribute. They don't have that dominant scorer. There's no Marcus Howard on this Xavier squad this year.
You talk about the 6 players that average between 13.5 and 9.5 points per game for Xavier. So you're right, Brian. They got to start getting guys on track and start sharing the wealth if they want to get back in this game.
Keontae Kennedy will enter, the freshman. So Travis Steele goes a little deeper into his rotation. Kennedy, who played just 6 minutes against Seton Hall. Some early minutes here today as Scruggs hits the second free throw. 14-6 Marquette. Sam Hauser to the bench, 0 for 4. All of his shots were threes, and has a couple of fouls. Jamal Cain on the floor for Marquette for the first time.
Interesting thing is, you're talking about maybe Castleton only a 24% three-point shooter. And, you know, he missed wide, but now we've seen Marcus Howard, we've seen Sam Hauser shoot air balls in their home gym. Very unusual.
Jones met at the rim by Hauser and John. It'll be a foul on Marquette. Let's see who they give it to.
Boy,
and it'll go on Theo John.
I tell you what, you want to see some grown man scrimp, not strength, scrimp. Right there, Tariq Jones going heads up. And good show of sportsmanship right there. Knocks a guy down and helps him back up.
Jones had been a starter, but had a head injury. Took a shot in practice, missed a game, wasn't quite right, fully ready to come back against Seton Hall. He played just 9 minutes in their matchup on Wednesday against Seton Hall, had just 2 points. But with Hankins on the bench in foul trouble, you figure this is going to be a lot of Tariq Jones. Started the first 14 games for Xavier, junior out of Bloomfield, Connecticut. Big-time rebounder in the Big East as well. He's up over 7 a game. Chartouni pushes it. Howard up the floor, fires the three, no. And a push-off by Jamal Cain on Marquette. That'll give the ball back to X.
So you see Marcus Howard trying to get going early in the possession. One pass up the floor into a quick three. Neither team really able to establish some consistency thus far on the offensive end.
Sakar Annam making 2 of his first 3, including a 3. It'll be Howard's first breather of the game. Najee Marshall will handle the point. Rangy point guard. Marshall loses the handle with Joey Hauser on him. Chartouni in transition up top. Cain a catch, sends it to Hauser. Oh, what a possession. Saved by Jamal Cain. The catch and the pass to the three-point shooter.
I mean, the body control. Jamal Big Daddy Cain getting it done.
Jones met at the rim by Cain. He fouls Tariq Jones. What athletic move to set up a three-pointer.
You're not going to see this every day. Jamal Cain does a 180, throws it out to Joey Hauser for the open three. Great adjustment in midair.
A moment ago, mic'd up in the huddle. Travis Steele, Xavier's head coach.
Marcus Howard, no way in hell he should be able to dribble up the floor and shoot a three. No way. No way. That can't happen. Remember, pick-up point with him is a step beyond NBA three. Every single time. We got drag screens. Own that thing nose to nose. Don't let him go around you on any of the ball screen action, all right?
I love the instructions by Travis Steele because of that shot right there. Marcus Howard cannot be allowed to walk into an open three. Travis Steele very specific about picking him up a foot beyond the NBA three, instructing Tariq Jones to be very sound on the pick and roll, the ball screen action, like what I saw from Travis Steele there.
Tariq Jones at the line for Xavier. Jones at the free throw line, just a 63% shooter. See Howard on the bench. Marcus Howard, his first rest. He's played 8 minutes. Howard with 5 points, including a long 2 and that three-pointer that Travis Steele was referencing. Marquette is undefeated on their home floor. They are 10-0, 11-3 overall.
First time we've seen a 2-3 zone by Xavier here, trying to slow down Marquette.
Annam, little floater is good. He's off to a great start. Sakar Annam has 8 points in this first half.
Sakar Annam, there are certain games and matchups where his game is favored. This is one of them. We also saw him go off a little bit against Kansas State. He was very aggressive. And when he can put the ball on the deck and get that first one to go, he's another weapon for Marquette.
Into traffic, Kennedy got stuck. Shot clock down to 3. Now Gooden's going to have to pull one up. Gooden goes to the hole, and it is blocked by John, and it'll be a shot clock violation. That was a point of emphasis yesterday in the Marquette practice for Steve Wojciechowski. Play through the end of the shot clock. Xavier is going to take it to the end of the clock whenever they can because of their short rotation. Don't allow those late clock scores on penetration. Well done that time. Hauser can't get that one to go. And back comes Xavier. Good, a little step back. Another one missed badly.
I mean, I've played games at 11 a.m. and I don't know, something's going on. It's both teams. They just cannot find the range.
Brendan Bailey, his first minutes of the game, the freshman. And a kickball. Reset the shot clock at 20. And substitutions now for both coaches as Paul Scruggs enters for Xavier. Wojciechowski will have Marcus Howard return as well. And that was a short run for Brendan Bailey.
Now Xavier back in the man-to-man. So changing defenses, trying to slow down the Golden Eagles in the half-court set.
Joey Hauser, double dribble. Turnover Marquette. With Howard on the bench, Marquette outscoring Xavier 5-1. Brought him through a media timeout as well.
I like the matchup that time. Joey Hauser had the 6'3" Paul Scruggs trying to guard him on the post. He doesn't cause that turnover. Marquette maybe the high percentage opportunity that time.
Johns guarding Jones, and a foul on Theo. That'll be number 2 on Theo Johns. Tyreek Jones can be a handful if you're trying to stack up some fouls against your opponent. He's the guy to do it. And I guess the biggest question right now for Tyreek Jones is going to be his endurance, his wind, because he has not played much over the last couple of weeks. That's 2 fouls now for John Kane and Sam Hauser. Zach Hankins with 2 fouls on the bench for Xavier.
Be interested to see if Travis Steele's one of those coaches that if you get 2 fouls in the first half, you just sit the rest of the halftime, or will he try to bring him back in spot duty to maybe give Jones a blow?
Ran over the official here, Chartouni. Ends up as a turnover for Marcus Howard.
You don't see that too often. Chartouni trying to fill the lane, but got to be aware of where you are.
I think he was trying to take the charge. Howard with a steal, gives it up. Annam running the floor. Annam scores. It's another and one. Sakar Annam has come to play here today. What a start he is off to. He got a chance at his second 3-point play.
Quentin Gooden just too lax with the basketball. Good job of Marcus Howard on the bounce pass, feeding Sakar Annam for the old school and one opportunity.
Annam has 10. Can't finish off the 3-point try. Sakar Annam with 10 points, 4 of 5 shooting. Paul Scruggs, Chartouni on him, gives it up. Here's Marshall. Annam checks him. Marquette's best defender. Marshall misses the little turnaround. Howard clears the deck. Here he comes. Push it ahead. Howard gives it right back. Annam wide open in the corner. No. And Hauser will be called for the foul. Joey with the push-off. And Wojo wants an explanation. First foul on Joey Hauser. It's already the 19th foul for Marquette. And Jamal Cain will re-enter this one with 2 fouls. 1 and 1 for Xavier. A lot of free throws the rest of this first half. A ton of fouls early.
I like the way Marquette advanced the basketball that time. They got the defense on their heels, were able to swing the ball around the perimeter to get wide open looks.
Gooden, a 69% free throw shooter. Second in the Big East in assists, 5.7 assists per game. Got his hands full today trying to guard Marcus Howard. 1 out of 2 at the line for Xavier. 21-9, Marquette with a lead in the ball. A poor shooting game to start it for both teams. Here's Annam again. Man, Annam is going wherever he wants right now.
And that's a set play that Marquette runs for Sakar Annam. What they do is either Theo John or Ed Morrow comes and posts up hard in the paint, seals off the defender. Annam goes to his strong right hand all the way to the rim.
And a lot of foul shots for Xavier, but they have not made a field goal in nearly 6 minutes. And that'll be another turnover. Good and passed it right between the legs of Marshall.
Well, Sakar Annam able to get the puppy set, drop the three. This is a tough shot. The floater in the paint, inside of the zone, and then running the floor well with the concentration. Sakar Annam getting busy today.
He had 16 against Kansas State. That was a Marquette win over the 12th ranked team in the country. They had back-to-back weekends where they beat the number 12 team, Kansas State, and Wisconsin as Howard misses. And it'll be chased down by Keontae Kennedy. And a travel. Kyle Caslin walks with it. Unforced error. Sloppy game in the Big East. Travis Steele got his work cut out for him today.
In the Big East, it's like the crowd's going crazy with Jay Crowder being shown. So,
yeah, you got a lot of NBA presence here. The Utah Jazz, many of the Jazz are represented today. Saw Mike Budenholzer, head coach of the Bucks, here as well. A regular who's who on a Sunday morning. There's Coach Bud. The Bucks losing last night to the Toronto Raptors. There's Quinn Snyder, head coach of the Utah Jazz. Jay Crowder. Jazz and Bucks play tomorrow in this beautiful Fiserv Forum.
Boy, Giannis did everything he could last night against the Raptors, but tell you what, some question whether Kawhi Leonard is going to bolt Toronto. I don't know. They're having a lot of success up there with him.
Nice. I didn't know you were spitting out hot takes today on a Sunday. I love it.
Come on now. I got hot takes all day long, man.
Well, basketball is alive and well here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Marquette off to a great start this year as they enter conference play. The Bucks putting together one of the best records in the NBA. Late clock here, goes to 5 to 4, and Harden gets one to rattle home. So Elias Harden did not play against Seton Hall. It's a quick 2 here for Xavier's. They go deep into their bench, under 7 minutes to go. There's Ed Morrow with Tyreek Jones on him. Morrow battles his way in, nothing there.
Good job by Tyreek Jones building a wall. Didn't even have to leave his feet, but forced Ed Morrow, who can be challenged sometimes to make these offensive moves around the box.
Now we saw Quinn Snyder, head coach of the Jazz. He is well connected, part of that Duke connection with Steve Wojciechowski. And for more on those two, let's check in with Katie. What do you have, Katie?
Well, Snyder was an before I ever believed in myself. I was just a pudgy Polish kid trying to find my confidence, and Snyder was the one who helped me through it. Now, their relationship later grew from player-coach to fellow coaches and friends. Wojo and this Marquette staff visited Salt Lake City for a week over the summer to watch Jazz training sessions and workouts, which proved to be very beneficial for the Golden Eagles this season. Basketball might be a worldwide sport, you guys, but the circles happen to be very small.
That's true, Kate.
Morrow, Theo John. So there's no threat of a center stepping out and hitting a 3 or a long mid-range. Saw Matt Helt enter the game. Theo John just picked up his 3rd foul. Helt has been a starter here for Marquette until this season, as personnel has improved for the Golden Eagles. Helt getting limited minutes off the bench. Tyreek Jones fouls Howard. Number 2 on Jones.
Marcus Howard does that as well as any guard in the country. Goes right at the big, creates contact, and draws a foul. It's really difficult to contain Marcus Howard.
He is the number 1 free throw shooter in the Big East. 91% from the line this season. And, of course, he misses the front end of the 1-and-1. It's an 11-point Marquette lead. Xavier trying to hold serve till they get to the second half and get some of their pieces back. Inside Jones works free from help, and a foul. No, beg your pardon, it's going to be a travel. And a Xavier turnover. Boy, Xavier had it right where they wanted it. Jones on help, caught it deep.
Yeah, that was a good execution. Just Jones isn't able to finish. Worried about the shot blocking of Matt Held, I believe, on the pump fake. Doubt he'll do that again.
Turnover number 8 for Xavier. Travis Steele's magic number is 11. 11 turnovers or fewer. Here's Annam. He's had a great first half, and he keeps it rolling here. Sakar Annam now with 14 of Marquette's 30.
These are huge moments for Marquette. When Marcus Howard isn't scoring the basketball, other guys like Sakar Annam, Joey Hauser stepping up to fill that void. That's going to be needed because we saw last game, St. John's did an excellent job defending Howard. Sometimes you're going to need others to step up.
A nice take on the step through by Scruggs. He's able to score the layup. Sam Hauser on the bench with 2 fouls. Marcus Howard just 2 for 7. Hit a long 2 and 1 threes, 1 for 6 from behind the arc. Annam's been the primary scorer here today. That is bonus points for Marquette. Little jump hook not there. Marshall comes away from the pack.
I think Xavier's going to have to give Tariq Jones a blow here. He's sucking wind hard.
Played extended minutes. Here's Elias Harden. No. And Howard with a rebound.
You know, guys that don't shoot the 3-ball well when you're open, take a hard bounce inside the 3, get into where your comfort zone is.
Going to be a foul going the other way. Matt Held called for the foul for Marquette after the Howard miss. Milwaukee, Wisconsin on us against DePaul last Wednesday. Got some firepower in the Big East this year. Going to get a good look at Shamori Pons. He's at 20.4 per game, 3rd in the conference. Miles Powell did a number on Xavier, scored 25, had 8 assists as well in that game. And then Howard at the top of the Big East starting play today.
Yeah, this trio of guards is as good as any you're going to see around the country. And all 3 do things slightly different. All 3 can really knock down a long-range shot. Shamori Pons is a magician with the rock. The way he can create for himself and his teammates. And Miles Powell, I mean, man, has he been impressive for maybe the surprise team of the Big East so far in Seton Hall.
Yeah, Kevin Miller's got him going there in Seton Hall. So Najee Marshall hits the free throw. So it's a 9-point game now. Marquette 30 on the board, 2:26 remaining in this first half. I'll tell you, if Travis Steele can navigate his way through this first half with foul trouble, the premier player in Zach Hankins, he can get to the halftime locker room in single digits. That'll be a victory for him.
I agree, and I think that another victory thus far for Xavier is that they've got the pace the way they want it. Marquette wants to get up and down and look for opportunities early in the shot clock. They haven't had many.
Here's Howard for 3, knocks it down. Marcus Howard, his second 3-point make, and back to a 12-point lead. Hankins back on the floor for Xavier, playing with those 2 fouls. Gives it up. Good pass, good ball movement. Marquette able to close him out at every point, though. Scruggs on the attack, pulls up, got it.
That is such a beautiful shot, and it's very difficult to execute. Scruggs starting to get on track offensively.
Scruggs had 22 against Seton Hall. Played all but 1 minute of that game. Hit a couple of threes as well. 10-point Marquette lead with the ball under a minute and a half. And a bad pass. Howard turns it over. Another Marquette turnover will give the ball back to Xavier. 7 turnovers for the Golden Eagles. Kane back on the floor for Chartouni.
You got to give credit to both teams' defensive efforts here in the first half. Yes, the offense has not been pretty. A lot of that is due to the effort on both ends. Marquette getting after it.
Here's Marshall, the reigning player of the week in the Big East. All the way across. Harden goes, gives it up. Hankins is there for the two-handed jam. He gives him a different look inside. This was the D2 National Player of the Year last year, Zach Hankins at Ferris State. Has hardly played in this one in foul trouble. What a hang and finish by Marcus Howard.
He's going full speed, Brian, then he hits the brakes when he goes up for the shot. So his defenders are gliding away, and he's got an open look. It's a very tough move.
Hankins, jump hook, not there. Another opportunity here for Xavier. Marshall goes to the hole. Marshall is fouled. He'll go to the line.
Marcus Howard, Najee Marshall, one of the premier defenders, and look at it. He's thinking that Marcus Howard is going to continue his momentum. Marcus Howard almost like stops and hits the brakes and hits the nice mid-range floater.
Second foul on Howard. Marshall, this is the first. Najee Marshall led Xavier to a victory in their conference opener at DePaul. He scored 19 points, grabbed a career-high 14 rebounds in that game, had 4 assists, great defense as always, and for his efforts was named the Big East Player of the Week. 1 out of 2 for Marshall. Take us to a timeout. Rojo wants to talk it over. 31.6 left in the half. Hey, next Sunday night, tune in to FS1, a huge super middleweight title fight. Jose Uzcategui defends his belt against undefeated Caleb Plant. It's live. It's next Sunday, 3:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Well done, BA.
Into the fight game a little bit.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I
could be a Bardo Anderson matchup at some point. That'd be a ratings boom, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right.
As long as we're on the same team. Well, Rojo draws one up here. About a half a second separating shot clock and game clock. And Howard content to take it down as far as he can. 9-point Marquette lead. Here's Howard. Howard with 10 points. Runs into the corner. Directing traffic. Goes to 2. Howard pulls a 3. And that will take us to the end of the first half. A dismal shooting half for both teams. 42% from the field for Marquette. Just 33% for Xavier. 35-26 as we head to the halftime break. Let's check in with Katie.
Steve, your team started off strong protecting the paint. Xavier continues to attack. How can you guys slow them down inside?
Well, we got to play without fouling. I mean, that's where over half their points have come from the free throw line. We got to play our defense without fouling. Obviously, we're not doing a good job with that.
Sakar Annam seemed to put the team on his back offensively. What did you think of his first half performance?
I thought he was really aggressive and attacking. When he's driving and making plays for himself and others, we're a better team.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
BA?
All right, thanks, Katie. Thanks to Steve Wojciechowski. Xavier, 18 free throw attempts. They were 10 for 18 from the line. After this break, we'll join Mike Hill, Steve Lavin, and Andy Katz. It's the Jeep and Bardo. And Steven, I think for Xavier to get it to single digits, they really took this game in the mud in the first half, and they've survived some foul trouble.
They have, and they got Marquette into foul trouble, and that's what really kept them within distance of Marquette. This first 5 minutes of the second half is critical for both teams to establish what they want to do moving down the rest of the game.
Sakar Annam was outstanding for Marquette with Howard struggling with his shot. Hauser on the bench with foul trouble. It was Annam, who's normally their 5th option.
And then guys like Sakar Annam are what you need on a team that's going to win a conference title. You know, you got a guy like Marcus Howard, when he gets shut down like we saw against St. John's, it's difficult for Marquette to pick it up, but today he's getting others to help him carry the load.
Annam with 14 points, only the third game this season in double-figure scoring. As we get this second half underway, Katie George standing by with a report from the Xavier locker room as Joey Hauser goes to work. A little turnaround is good. Let's check in with Katie. What Travis Steele had to offer, Katie?
Well, he told his players at halftime that they have to start taking care of the ball better. He said turnovers and bad shot selection hurt them in the first half. And he said if we make our free throws, this score looks completely different. He also said the first few minutes of the second half are imperative because this is where you win the big war.
Totally right, Katie, in terms of trying to establish themselves on the road in a very difficult environment.
Going to be a foul on Marcus Howard. That'll be his second. First year as the head man at Xavier. Travis Steele, longtime assistant. 9 years an assistant under Chris Mack. Hired by Sean Miller as the video coordinator. 36 years of age. He knows this program inside and out. Known as one of the great recruiters in the college game. And now gets a chance to run a program. This would be a signature win for Xavier, one that they are desperate for at this point of the schedule, coming in here at 9-6. Scruggs has to fire up a wild three. Good defensive possession for Marquette. Howard probing. Finds Hauser in the corner. Sandhauser short. Hankins the rebound.
Xavier's got to get a chance to get Hankins on the block and get him a couple of touches. He was in foul trouble early, so he was a non-factor.
Air ball ends up in the hands of Joey Hauser. Marquette had a 16-point lead at the 7:38 mark of the first half. Xavier closed on a 17-10 run. The rest of the half in foul trouble, ton of free throws, but were able to slow the game down and get it to single digits at the break. Here's Hankins. He is fouled. So the fouls keep stacking up for Marquette. You heard Wojo talk to Katie going into the halftime locker room. We've got to stop fouling and giving them opportunities at the line. Xavier puts the pressure on you, though. And Hankins unable to connect on the first. The Division II Player of the Year last year at Ferris State. Best nickname in college basketball, Bardo? Hanky McSpanky?
Is that Hanky McSpanky? I was going to come up with something different with that hairdo. I like how he rocks his hair. You got to give me a couple minutes. I'll come up with something even better than that.
I don't know. Hanky McSpanky's up there for me. 3 things you need to know. I mean, he loves his nickname. It's part of his identity. He had a lot of suitors, including Louisville and Michigan State, trying to gather his services for this graduate transfer season. Howard, tough pass all the way across. Fortunate not to have turned it over. 9 on the shot clock for Marquette.
Hankins did an excellent job of containing Marcus Howard that time. A lot of times Howard will go to the big man's hip to draw the contact. Hankins slid effectively and held him in check.
Howard splits a double team right to John, and it's poked away by Quentin Gooden. Theo John had a dunk waiting for him. But Gooden, an excellent defensive play.
Watch Hankins right there. He drops to contain Howard. That's a very subtle thing defensively, but that was an excellent job, especially when Hankins got into quick foul trouble early on. Good job.
Baseline out of bounds here for Marquette. Shot clock at 1. Got to get one up quick. Hauser does. Air ball and a shot clock violation. Xavier's got the pace they want against Wojo and Marquette. They've got it, as I mentioned, in the mud. They've got it slowed down. This is a Xavier team with a thin rotation. They relied on Keontae Kennedy, a freshman, and Elias Harden, the sophomore, getting more minutes than they normally would in that first half. Marshall got it. Nice little pull-up for Najee Marshall.
Now I think the viewers can understand why I'm so high on this young man. What he can do. We've seen him get a steal, go coast to coast. We've seen him stick a jumper, open jumper. Now he puts it on the deck, creates space, and shows off his mid-range game.
Stuffs that stat sheet, doesn't he? Here's Howard for 3. Another air ball. I'll tell you, Marcus Howard has missed more shots badly in this game that I've seen all year.
You see Najee setting his defender up, getting to his sweet spot on the mid-range game. Kind of a lost art.
Hauser lost the handle. Joey did on his way up. Marshall probing. Najee Marshall, a little jump hook. No, Hankins keeps it alive into the hands of Hauser. In transition goes Marquette. This is the pace they want to play. And Howard knocks down a three.
I don't know if there's anybody in college basketball that can look right at their defender, run right up on them, and just bang a three off the bounce so quickly.
13 for Marcus Howard. That's his third three-pointer made. He's 3 for 10. Down inside Hankins. It's crowded in there. And going to be a foul. Theo John.
Look at Marcus Howard looking right at the defender's feet, trying to see what he's doing. And if he likes what he sees, he elevates quickly. And if you're not locked in defensively, Marcus Howard is going to score more often than not.
That foul for Marquette goes to Theo John, number 4. By the way, check out the reaction under the basket here in the front row. Jay Crowder of the Utah Jazz. He's dialed in, man.
Oh, yeah. Coming back home, he wants to see his guys have success.
Crowder's got his whole Utah Jazz squad over there, it looks like. On the take, Marshall. Whoa, what an athletic move. Can't get the layup. Here's Howard.
Boy, Hankins, once again, corrals Marcus on the ball screen action and then gets back defensively.
Oh, somehow Howard, high off the window, scores. 15 now for Howard, and he's starting to get that feeling back.
I was getting ready to say, Xavier better be careful because Marcus Howard gets a couple going. We've seen 40 in the second half. We saw that, Brian.
That was against Buffalo. He scored 5 points in the first half of that game and then hit 40 in the second half, including 24 straight points. Sam Hauser travels. It's update for him. Marcus Howard starting to get it cooking. Big East basketball here on Fox. It's 42-28, Marquette.
So finished what we saw him get to the rim on the last possession, and he is always leading, always talking to his teammates, trying to be an encouragement for his teammates, whether he's on the court or not.
Well, as Katie pointed out when we hit the air, the story of this game for Marquette was going to be the response of Marcus Howard, a season-low 8 points against St. John's on the road. He was not a factor at all in that game. He didn't get to the free throw line, which he does very well. He did not score at his normal pace, but he has come back and had a good one here and a great start to this second half for Marcus Howard. 3 times he's been the Big East Player of the Week. Scored 33 against Xavier last year, despite Xavier winning both matchups. Tyreek Jones on Ed Morrow. And it's Hauser who clears the board. Marquette can add to their lead. Marquette up 14 points. That is with Sam Hauser. 0 for 6 and no points in this game. The Hauser brothers on the floor together. Here's Sam. Sam into the lane. Flurry of moves. Finally gets some points on the board. Does the elder Hauser.
See, with the matchup, the lineup that Xavier has on the floor right now, either Sam or Joey Hauser is going to have a guard trying to check them. Every time they get the basketball in that situation, they're getting into the paint.
All the way across the floor for Najee Marshall. Misses the three. Xavier needed that one badly. Now Marquette, chance to add to their lead.
Danger zone here for Xavier.
Sakar Adams, short. Morrow, the board. Morrow's got 2 on. Clears some space. Misses the layup. Boy, 3 chances for Ed Morrow. Just could not get the layup to go.
Easy hit. Morrow trying to pad those stats on the rebound. Just couldn't get it to drop.
First year eligible this year, Ed Morrow. Transfer from Nebraska. Sat last year. Morrow ends up on the switch on Marshall. Goes right by him. Good help there by Annam. And that'll be Marquette ball. Last touch by Marshall and Xavier. So Morrow holds his ground on the defensive end.
Well, Xavier, they've had turnover issues all season long, and it seems to be coming and biting them at the wrong time. against Seton Hall when they had that double-digit lead in the second half. They had a crucial stretch, Brian. 8 possessions, they had 5 turnovers, allowing the Pirates to get back into that game.
That was a 10-point loss against Seton Hall. Remember, Xavier was up double digits with 8 minutes to go in that one. Just couldn't protect the ball. They're a low possession team, too. 11 turnovers for Xavier. Now Marquette trying to cash in. Three-pointer is long. And in transition comes Elias Harden. Harden, little Euro step. Hangs, no. Putback doesn't go from Scruggs. And Howard clears it away. Up ahead, Annam running the floor. Sakar Annam, throw it down.
Excellent forward vision by Marcus Howard that time to see Annam getting behind the defense. Nice lead pass.
Annam has 16 points. It's a 9-0 Marquette run. Up 18 now. Xavier desperate for a basket. Marshall on the take. Up and over Morrow. No. Morrow the rebound. Hauser to Hauser. Joey to Sam. In and out. Tyreek Jones clears it. This crowd was ready to roar. Scruggs into the corner. Jones and Morrow, 2 big bodies, bang it in the paint, give it up. Harden will fire. And it's Morrow again, another board for Ed Morrow. Marquette, the top team in the Big East in defensive rebounds. Theo John and Ed Morrow are a big part of that.
Marquette just doing a really good job of corralling Tyreek Jones on the post. Well, Marquette hasn't had the pace to their liking, but now they're starting to open it up. Nice lead pass by Marcus Howard. And look at the bench.
Taking on Illinois. Action tips off at 8 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Michigan, one of the 3 unbeatens. They'll have Indiana. They host the Hoosiers at Chrysler a little bit later today. 14-0, the Wolverines of Michigan, number 2 in the country. Virginia 13-0. Just 3 unbeatens remain in college basketball. Coming out of the timeout, a foul on Paul Scruggs. 12.5 a game. He's got 7 on just 2 of 7 shooting.
And Marquette is not giving Xavier any really easy looks in half-court set.
Howard on the floor with Joseph Chartouni. Allows him to play off the ball some. In the corner, Joey Hauser. He's got it. Little pull up and pop for Joey Hauser, a long 2. And it's a 20-point Marquette lead. Joey Hauser has 15.
Xavier, with their struggles on this end of the floor, it's very difficult to close this gap unless they can get back to the free throw line, start putting more pressure on Xavier.
Najee Marshall, count that one. 3-point chance for Xavier. Najee Marshall goes strong to the hole. Jamal Cain with his 3rd.
Watch Najee put his head down. Good job by Hankins clearing out Ed Morrow, contesting the shot.
Well, Marshall caps off a 3-point play. Snaps an 11-0 Marquette run. Marshall, unanimous choice for Big East All-Freshman team last year. He's battled chronic back problems. Probably somewhat limited his production, but he's a handful when he's healthy. Joey Hauser, patient, air ball. Hankins a rebound.
Scruggs did a good job that time. 6'3", but long arms.
Little hesitation by Scruggs, finishes with the left. 9 points for Paul Scruggs.
Don't be surprised to see Xavier maybe here in the next couple of possessions, maybe look at a little bit of zone.
Behind the back, little step back from Howard. High arcing field goal for Marcus Howard gives him 17.
You got to give it to Hankins on the block. Let the big fella eat a little bit.
Marshall with Kane on him. Pulls up, hits it again. That's his sweet spot right there.
Yeah, and he's getting to it off the bounce, creating enough space, and with that size of his at 6'7", able to elevate over the defender.
15 for Marshall. 10-minute mark of this second half. Marquette by 15. Chartouni dumps it in tomorrow. And out of bounds. Let's send it over to Katie George. She got a special guest.
Jay, first off, welcome to Fiserv Forum. How does it feel for you to be back in Milwaukee, getting to see your Golden Eagles play?
It feels great. The love that's in the building for me, and to come back and see some familiar faces, it feels great to be back.
You saw Sakar Annam with that monster dunk. You've seen Howard knock down multiple threes. What's impressed you about this team so far?
Their energy is very high, and I like it a lot. Guys on the bench are engaged, the coaches are engaged, and it's transforming into good play on the court. So it feels good to see these guys so engaged and bring the energy.
Is there any jealousy that you didn't get to play inside this building when you were a college student?
Yeah, a little bit. This is a nice arena, but I'll play in it tomorrow night. But I wish I could have played in my college days. It's a great arena. It looks very, very good, very new. So it looks like a good home court.
What do you think about this guy next to you, Donovan Mitchell, the job he's done?
My young boy, he's good. He's a top player. He's very gifted on the offensive end, obviously, and he does a lot for us. And he's growing each and every game, and it's great to be to play alongside him.
Thanks for the time, Jay. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
God, a glimpse of the Louisville royalty right there. Donovan Mitchell and Katie George, star volleyball player at Louisville. Good to see the Utah Jazz here. See Ricky Rubio over there. Head coach Quinn Snyder. Donovan Mitchell finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting last year. Derek Favors in the building as well. Yeah, good to have the Jazz in here. From Duke fan, Grayson Allen. A lot of Duke connections. Danny Ferry and Quinn Snyder. You got Wojo, Grayson Allen. Everybody represented here. Saw Mike Budenholzer in the arena as well, head coach of the Bucks. It's gone the other way. Going to be an offensive foul on Harden. And that'll give the ball back to Marquette.
It's so difficult to make an uphill climb when you sabotage what you're doing with plays like that. You know, offensive fouls and turnovers, just demoralizing.
And a turnover given right back. Howard lost the handle. Marshall all the way. No. Hankins with the putback misses the layup at point blank. Well, it's been that kind of second half for Xavier. Golden opportunity miss right there. Up top, Kane throw it down on the lob from Marcus Howard.
Well, that was an excellent look on the move. Marcus Howard known for his scoring. Great job by the Marquette Golden Eagles. Small Big Daddy Kane ain't no half stepping along the baseline.
Travis Steele battling foul trouble with his squad in the first half, was able to get it to a 9-point game at the break, but Marquette outscoring Xavier 19-9 here in the second half. 9 minutes to go. Xavier in the second half just 4 for 17. Morrow just destroys one as Marshall goes to the basket. Morrow will be called for the foul. That had a little purpose on that one. My goodness.
I'd say so. I mean, it looked like he was playing volleyball to spike.
So Xavier 4 for 17 with 4 turnovers in this second half. Ran into a wall at Ed Morrow.
I didn't see the lower body, but he got a lot of ball up top.
Substitutions here for Xavier. Back on the floor comes Quinn Gooden and Tyreek Jones.
Marquette hasn't looked pretty, but their defense has really been stellar this afternoon.
Well, good news for Marquette. They're getting production from a lot of different players here. Sam Hauser's having a rough day as Morrow spins himself free. It's another layup missed. And he's had a couple of missed layups. Everything's been good to get himself open, but unable to finish. And now Scruggs goes all the way to the hole and right by Morrow to score.
Ed Morrow, a lot of times, he gets going so quickly that he loses his balance when he tries to explode up to the rim. And so you'll see him sometimes miss those shots.
And travels this time. Boy, Marcus Howard left it on a platter for him. And Morrow will take a seat. Joey Hauser, Theo John return. Kane giving Marquette good minutes here. Ed Morrow frustrating on the offensive end, just 2 points, but 7 boards for Ed Morrow.
They're going to send a APB out for Quentin Gooden because he has been a non-factor this afternoon for Xavier.
Marshall finishes with the left hand. He's got 19. Quentin Gooden just 1 point. Has not attempted a 3. He's 0 for 3 from the field.
But he's just not engaged. Like, he's an elite defender. He has not put a fingerprint on this game yet.
Ends up on Hauser here. Sam Hauser.
Oh, what a screen.
Shot clock down to 5. Howard with Marshall on him. Howard gets by 1, gets by 2, leaves it up, no. And a shot clock violation. I think Howard thought John was going to roll to the rim, was trying to set him up for a lob.
Scored a 6-0 run on those guys. 6-0. If you have scrubs in the paint, go up and shoot. That's why we're running that. Take the shot. If we get it in the paint, we got to finish. We can't have those empty possessions. Look, and it's affected our defense again.
Steve Wojciechowski took his Marquette Golden Eagles to the NCAA tournament 2 years ago, but I think it's a pretty well understood notion that this is his best team he's assembled as the head coach here at Marquette.
Yes, it is, and this is his best defensive team that he's assembled here at Marquette as well, because they can always score the basketball under Wojciechowski. They struggled defending, but right now doing a really good job holding down Xavier and trying not to let them get to the free throw line like they were able to in the first half.
Paul Scruggs at the line and able to hit 2 for 2 from the line. That's an 8-0 run for Xavier. Marquette had a 20-point lead at one point before Xavier has quickly answered here. Marcus Howard for 3. Got it. Boy, that shot is pure as it gets.
Tariq Jones not able to corral Marcus Howard that time. And he doesn't need much space.
Howard's hit 3 threes today and a long 2. He's got 17. Wellage, and he buries a 3. Ryan Wellage has not been a factor in this game. His first field goal made. It's only his second field goal attempted.
Nice set play by Xavier to get Wellage that look. Set him up as a decoy to set the ball screen. He slips it. They get the ball to him in time. That's a job by Wellage.
Wellage, a transfer out of San Jose State. He's from Greenburgh, Indiana. Long relationship with head coach Travis Steele. They go back to Wellage's elementary school days. He's one of the 3 impact transfers, the grad transfers that have signed on here at Xavier. Marcus Howard, long 3 is up, and down it goes. Marcus Howard with the deep ball. And Marquette gets on a run now. 14-point lead for the Golden Eagles.
Boy, Najee Marshall's head just dropped. He did everything he could defensively. He was in good position, but Marcus Howard, elite.
Wellage again, no. Jones kept it alive. Last touch by Jones. That'll be Marquette ball.
Watch how far Marcus Howard catches this basketball off the 3. This is beyond the NBA 3 where he's catching it. And Najee Marshall's right there on the catch. Just elite offense.
Sakar Annam turns the corner. Morrow set the wall for him, and Annam adds to his terrific day against Xavier. Sakar Annam now with 18, second most he has ever scored at Marquette. Had 26 against Creighton last year in February. Wellage on the take, misses close range, and that'll be Marquette ball. Foul on Xavier. Got a push by Paul Scruggs. Xavier's had some opportunities. They've had some great looks Just been unable to finish.
Joey Hauser has quietly had a really good game. I mean, he's been on the glass, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 15 points. He's been efficient from the field.
Annam over Welling, short. Scruggs rips it down, approaching the 5-minute mark. Here's Scruggs all the way, wild shot. Annam destroys it, but a foul. Marcus Howard commits the foul. Let's get you back to Joey Hauser.
Yeah, Joey Hauser has stayed opposite, meaning that whenever the ball handler is handling the rock, he gets into their field of vision, so there's an easy pass. He's able to convert on his opportunity. Joey Hauser, nice all-around game this afternoon.
Technically a redshirt freshman, Joey Hauser. He broke his foot in his senior year of high school, played in just 1 game at Stevens Point area senior high, known as Spash here in Wisconsin. So he enrolled in Marquette last spring, was with the team under their medical care at Marquette. After a terrific prep career at Stevens Point, he and Sam combined winning 6 state championships, 2 together. Howard slips it in. There's Morrow and a foul. No, I beg your pardon, it's a travel, and Ed Morrow's woes offensively continue. Second time he's turned it over with a travel.
Tell you what, Ed Morrow and Sam Hauser, they need to change up their pregame meal. Whatever it was today, they need to abandon that, because both of those guys have really struggled.
Tyreek Jones with Morrow on him. Morrow's been excellent defensively. Kennedy misses a 3. Scruggs flies high for the rebound. And that'll be Xavier ball. It was a 20-point Marquette lead at 48-28. Xavier got it within 9, but Marquette has stretched it out now. Up 14, Xavier with the ball, 4.5 to go. Marshall with Sam Hauser on him. And Morrow rips down the board. And now a whistle underneath as Scruggs and Morrow come together. Scruggs will be called for the foul, which will be his 4th.
Ed Morrow doing a good job of securing that defensive glass. It's almost like Marquette sometimes can leak out because Ed Morrow is so aggressive going after those rebounds.
8 rebounds for Morrow. Theo John is fouled out, so Morrow on the floor for the final 6 minutes of this one. Howard up over Marshall, had it partially blocked. Marshall at 6'7", got a piece of that. Now in transition, Scruggs wild to the basket, but scores.
Oh, Scruggs with that long arm length can really get past his defender and be creative at the rim.
Scruggs has 15 points, 8 of those coming in the second half. 12-point game, Marquette, and Scruggs hanging on Joey Hauser. Called for the foul. Does Xavier have one more run in him? Paul Scruggs doing his best to keep him in it. 62-50, 12-point Marquette lead. Longtime assistant Sean Miller hired him as the video coordinator for the 08-09 season, then became an assistant under Chris Mack, knows his program well, and a terrific recruiting class coming in next year. He'll get the program right back to its prominent level.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is a program that we just showed the history and the national brand that Xavier has created. And you're going to have some ups and downs when you graduate a Blewett and J.P. McCure. I mean, those guys are AARP card-carrying members, man. They've been there forever. You lose a couple guys like that, it's going to take a while to adjust.
Now Chris Mack taking the job at Louisville. Not only losing Blewett and McCura, but Kaiser Gates, Green Cantor. It's a lot of offense and a lot of leadership that was gone, whether Mack stayed or not. Steele inherits it, got the 3 grad transfers. Look it inside, Hauser is pushed, can't finish. Joey Hauser will go to the free throw line. Welledge on the foul.
Marquette has run some really good half-court sets. in the second half. Just moving guys around, getting them in position to be successful. And Joey Hauser has been taken advantage of.
Joey Hauser, an excellent free throw shooter in his own right. Matter of fact, Marquette leads the Big East as a team in free throw shooting. Joey Hauser, 85%. He's fourth in the league. His brother Sam is fifth, and Marcus Howard is first in the Big East.
This game has an unusual feel to it. It seems like Marquette should be dominating, but the score says otherwise, where Xavier gets a good look that time, Brian. They could have put a little bit more pressure on Marquette.
It was a 20-point Marquette lead. Xavier was able to get it to 9. This feels like Marquette has their thumb on the Musketeers, though. And usually this is Marcus Howard time. He fires up a 3, too strong. Into the hands of Harden. And Harden, did he travel? No, offensive foul is the call. And that'll turn it over.
Wow, Harden had Wellage wide open on the side. He kicks it over to Wellage, and he knocks down that 3. You got a different feel in this game.
Xavier 1-1 in conference play. They had a win on the road against DePaul, a comeback win. Gave up a lead late against Seton Hall. Here's Annam all the way in. 2 more for Sakar Annam. Has 20 now. 6 points shy of a career best. That's 14 in the first half. That'll be an offensive foul. Howard took the charge. And it's gone the other way. Marshall with the foul. That's coming up here for Xavier. They'll have Georgetown and Butler at home. And then they'll go on the road to take on Villanova. But 4 of their next 5 games will be at home at the Cintas Center.
They're going to have to make up some hay here because, you know, when you lose an opportunity to get a big-time win like this.
Another 3 for Marcus Howard. A quiet 26 for Marcus Howard. Much to the delight of Jay Crowder.
Quiet 26. That's a good description too, BA.
Harden in the corner. He's not been afraid. He fires up an air ball. You know, Howard with 26 points. He is just 2 assists away from a double-double. What's noteworthy about that, Marcus Howard has never had a double-double in his Marquette career, as prolific of a scorer as he is. Joey Hauser got it with the left hand.
I'll tell you, Big East is going to have problems with that young man for years to come.
He's got 18 points.
Well, he is a smooth customer. He's learned well from his big brother.
These guys are all coming back next year, too. Joey's a freshman. Sam's a junior. Howard's just a junior. Under a minute to go. Tyreek Jones dumps it inside. Kennedy had it blocked by Sam Hauser. And there's Morrow. And Marquette with a victory lap here on the way to the end of this one. And a line change for Steve Wojciechowski. Big hand for those who did the dirty work today. Marcus Howard to the bench. 26 points, 8 assists today. Joey Hauser, 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists for the younger Hauser.
A lot of good things to take away from this one if you're Marquette. Didn't quite score the basketball the way that they would prefer, but their defense was stellar. Sakar Annam was outstanding.
Sakar Annam with 20 points. That helped. Not there. Cam Murata's on the floor for Marquette as well. Fan favorite. Chance to get some minutes. As Marshall, a little pull-up hop. Najee Marshall with 21 for Xavier. Marquette headed to Creighton. They'll go to Omaha next. That'll be on Wednesday. Home game against Seton Hall on FS1, and then they'll travel to D.C. to take on Georgetown. The Golden Eagles remain undefeated at Fiserv Forum. Wojo's team 11-0 at home. They go to 12-3, even up their conference record 1-1.
Yeah, good job by Marquette holding serve at home. You want to win a conference title, take care of your business at home and try to split on the road.
18-point win for Marquette. 26 from Marcus Howard. For Stephen Bardo, Katie George, Our producer, Aaron Storkoff. Director, Matt Gangle. This is Brian Anderson. Thanking you for joining us today in Milwaukee. Once again, our final. Marquette 70, Xavier 52. So long from Big East Country, everyone.